So Gerard, why don't you begin with your first question?
Guys lost Christian Williams, obviously, but you guys didn't get nobody in the portal. Coach Drake was talking about how you guys feel comfortable with what you got at defensive tackle. So, I mean, what is it about this group that you guys like that you said, we like what we got here, we're going to run with that for now?
Yeah, the biggest thing is the development of the guys that's been in the room already. So right now you got some guys that aren't as experienced as you would like them to be, but we've seen their development come along. So that's why we didn't feel like we needed to get in the portal at the time.
What are kind of the keys to that development that you're looking for from this group?
Well, initially, it started with the recruiting. We had to flip the room 2 years ago. So we had some transfer portal guys that gave us a bridge, that kind of gave us a break for Marquise and Jalen, Elias, who's a young guy to come along. So now those guys are out of the room. It's these guys' time to kind of rise to the top. And we've been able to do that. Some of it was in the weight room with Coach Russ, being able to build up the bodies, cutting some fat on some of the bigger guys. But then also on the field, developing some of those fundamentals and techniques. And then in the pass rush, trying to develop a toolbox.
Outside of Chris McClellan, who are some of those guys, behind him that are starting to stand out so far?
Well, Sterling played a significant amount for us last year, number 10. But Jalen and Marquise are two guys that have been here for 3 years. They've built the foundation. They've started to compound on that foundation. And then now is their time to kind of sprout out and spring out. Elias Williams is a young guy that we think very highly of. He's showing some stuff in the pass rush game. Got to fine-tune him in the run game. And then also Sam Williams, who's another guy that's been here for a while. He has a great foundation laid. Got to continue to coach the urgency out of him. But all of those guys are growing up right before our eyes.
With Marquise specifically, just where did you see him grow getting some playing time last year?
Just understanding really for him is foundational play. Get the call, get a line, do your job, right? Obviously, he's a big guy. He's going to be a first, second down player for us. But he showed us some pass rush through this spring camp, and that's what we needed out of him. We needed him to show us he can play first, second, and third down.
With Chris, he's obviously pretty polished and was successful last season. How is he still continuing to show development and growth?
Learning the defense even more. Last year was his first year in the defense. So again, for him, learning the defense, the small things. Where's the back? Where's the tight end? Understanding what runs we're going to get based on our front. And I think he's grown a lot too.
And how have you seen him take on a leadership or mentor role in the defensive tackle?
The best thing about that is I ain't have to tell him. I think him and Sterling both have took it upon themselves to be the new Christian, right? Obviously, Christian was a very unique human being. He did a great job pouring energy into those guys. So now they understand, it's my time now. Now I'm the upperclassman. It's my turn to lead the room.
Obviously, a lot of focus on development, not really bringing anybody in the portal. Is that something that's more of like a long-term thing you're trying to continue, where just really focusing more on the guys that you've brought in, took a high school route, instead of hitting the portal like you have in the past?
I think the kids always tell us what we need, right? So if the guys that we have here are showing us we don't need a guy, then we don't want to have to go to the portal. If those guys aren't working out, then we have to go to the portal. We got to do what we have to do, whatever's best for the football team, and that's what we got to do.
We've seen in fall you guys move Elias from defensive into defensive tackle. Just what went behind that move from him?
Initially, it was his weight. He was heavy, right? Our field ends aren't going to be 290-pound guys. Now, he's lost weight since, but he's able to show us that he can handle it staying inside. I still see him. If we need him to go out there, we can put him out there. Just got to teach him the calls, reteach the calls back to him. But I do think that the kid has handled the move really well, and he's starting to show us some promise.
Well, I guess to stay on that, are there any defensive ends who could move in, kind of on a NASCAR patch?
Yeah, I can't tell y'all I see this, man. He's trying to get us. He's trying to get me in, cat. Yeah, we got some good pass rushers. That's all I'm going to say. We got some pretty good pass rushers.
With Elias, what does that strength and conditioning, transformation look like, specifically in the weight room and stuff like that?
Oh, man. Well, when he first got here, obviously he got here a couple weeks. He got like 2 weeks late, right? So for him, he was so far behind the group. We really had to cardio him a lot, right? And he was doing a lot of running, playing DN, and we moved him inside. So it was a lot for the kid initially. But in the weight room with Russ, it really was about cutting fat and building muscle, and he did it phenomenally. So it was crazy.
The two redshirt freshmen, Justin and Jaden, just what was the last year like for them, and how much mature do you see them this year?
Yeah, I do think the sense of growth for Justin. Again, get the call, get a line, do my job. We know the calls now. Now it's about playing fast, showing that urgency. As far as the other one was Elias, the other freshman. Now, the other kid that we got in our room is a walk-on. He's a pretty good player, too. He's pretty salty. Yes, sir.
Anything else for Coach? Great. Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Thank